Hello, today's review is Battlewake. And do I recommend it? I can't express enough how much I absolutely recommend the shit out of this game. This game is phenomenal. It's a hidden gem, really. Like the fact that nobody's playing the multiplayer baffles me because even the single player is phenomenal. And the multiplayer, granted, there's 10 people lobbies, and I was only able to get a 3-person. Still had just the most phenomenal time. It is a little intensive. It's a little rough on the stomach and a little rough on the eyes and the head because it's a little bright and vibrant at times. So if you're not quite if you don't quite have the stomach for it, then I understand, don't get it. But if you got the VR legs and the C legs, this game is like just amazing. It needs a psvr2 update, and it needs people to know about it because it's just so good. Now, granted, like, I'm a simple individual. You really only need to do 2 things right to get me to love a game. Like, if it's pretty, each map is pretty huge. I mean, look at the size of some of these maps. All that's open. Just absolutely just stunning. Eerie as fuck. And kind of atmospheric. This one actually is one of my favorite maps. It just got a certain vibe to it that none of the other ones quite have. And you gotta have satisfying murder. In which case, like, some captains I'll admit I feel are better than others, but each captain, there's 4 captains, and each captain has their own unique ship and their own unique specials and stuff. Diego's big thing is front-mounted machine guns, standard broadside cannons, and what pirate captain doesn't have a mortar? Specials include ramming into folks and summoning a tornado. Rev's ship is actually personally my favorite ship. The front cannon is just like a single bolt action sniper-esque, long range, half decent. Broadside cannons are pretty nice, but instead of a mortar, we got flamethrowers. Rev's super abilities include summoning the almighty Cthulhu himself as like an ultimate. And if he isn't feeling like resurrected, you can always summon just his dick for a little cocksmack. Calavera is the 3rd captain, and he's just got some pretty standard Queen's and Revenge double volley of broadsides. I can't remember what those things are called. They kind of fucking suck if you ask me. It's got like this double-sided sniper thing that does a pretty decent chunk of damage. And his supers are covering his boat in spikes that will eventually free to launch out. They tend to knock things back, not very far, and do some damage, not very much. His most impressive is probably his like little wall of spikes. They do a pretty half-decent amount of damage, and it's also fun watching things get impaled like that. The 4th and final captain, Captain Zhang, has a lovely set of broadside ballistas, I believe. Kind of looks like ballistas, with the front side autocannon, and a lovely set of explosive barrels to throw behind us. On top of that, her magical little ability is to summon little waves, or to use Serve.
This is the true power of Earth.
And anything after that, like goofing around and shit. Rockets engage! Each captain has 5 levels, and I believe there's just the 5 maps in total, which I've already shown are just gorgeous. But we're not going to go back to that because I could stare at those motherfuckers for days. In both single player and multiplayer, your captain and your vessel can be leveled up. In both single player and multiplayer, your captain will level up as you play the game, and your ship will require money. You can earn that money. You can earn that money in single player and multiplayer, and then use the money to upgrade your ships. I had just a blast playing this. It's still to this day one of my favorite titles for psvr1, and like I said, it needs a psvr2 title update, and it needs more people to know about it because it's so good. But hopefully that helps. Hopefully this was somewhat entertaining, and have a good one.